And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to takesbyfans.com/watch. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So, however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today is a big old Tuesday, folks. Week 17 has officially wrapped up in the NFL with Monday Night Football on last night. Browns at the Steelers, Big Ben's last ride at Heinz Field, and they get the win. Did Big Ben get it done? I don't know if we could say that. They won the game. The defense really kind of won the game. Najee Harris did pretty solid. A nice cherry on top of the Sunday last night with that kind of walk-off touchdown with the minute left, stunting, giving Big Ben all that extra opportunity to knee on the field and all that. So we got to break down that Monday night game from last night. Where do we stand on Baker? What do we do with Baker, folks? You saw Baker last night. So a lot to talk about there. We got to do our NBA Daily 10, and then there are just a few stories I do want to touch upon today, and then we will walk through the Week 18 schedule to see how we think the final playoff picture is going to look, and we'll kind of compare it to how we predicted it from last week. Obviously, we had the Dolphins in the playoffs in the finale, and, they lose, so obviously our playoff picture is going to be a little bit different, and then we can walk through the playoff picture once we have it all set a little bit later in the week, maybe looking at Thursday's show of getting that, or maybe even Friday's show. So that's what we've got today on the show. So let's kick it off here. Let's get 10 minutes on the clock here. Here we go. Next 10 minutes, uninterrupted basketball talk, of which has happened yesterday in the NBA. We've got 10 minutes on the clock, and the 10 minutes start now. Alrighty, tons of games on in the NBA last night. We had two bets going, folks, and we hit one of one, so not the greatest heading into 2022. Was looking for that 2-0, but that bet that we were gushing over and told y'all, hey, this is amazing value, we love this, that one hit. So, hey, if you're going to hit one, we want it to be the one that we were calling out fantastic value in. So, that's what we did. But let's start here with the first matchup up. Rockets at the 76ers. And, folks, once again, hey, this is great news here for the 76ers. We can start betting them in swallowing pretty solid, decent point totals. They're back officially of blowing teams out. They blew out the Rockets 133-113 last night. We know the 76ers are a fantastic team. We know the Rockets are one of the worst teams in the league, so this was an expected blowout, and it was a blowout, and we've seen Philadelphia's offensive production, like we've said, tracking it the last 2 weeks, increasing, so we are all green lit of continuing to bet on the 76ers as we progress through the rest of the season, so absolutely love that. So here we go. Let's start here with the 76ers since they got the win. Joel Embiid doing his things. Triple-double, 31 points, 10 assists, 15 rebounds. Absolutely fantastic. Seth Curry at the one. No Tyrese Maxey last night, and they still put up 133 points, and the production and the facilitation of the floor was all good, so that's fantastic. Seth Curry, we know we can rely on him. 15 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. And then Furkan Korkmaz stepping up at the 2, filling in for Seth Curry, who's filling in for Tyrese Maxey. We get Furkan Korkmaz at the 2, 24 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. Amazing night. 24 points was the second leading scorer for the squad last night, so shout out to him, man. Furkan Korkmaz, and we know this 76ers team is pretty deep, so man, loving. I'm glad that they're back, folks. It was kind of saddening me that kind of, what was it, a 2, 3, 4 week stretch where the 76ers, they were all, a little hobbled with COVID-19 and injuries. Embiid was out, and then Embiid comes back, and they're still not blowing out teams. This is the 76ers team that we signed up to watch in the beginning of the season, and I'm so glad it's back, folks. So super glad. And then Tobias Harris, 14 big old points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. And then Isaiah Joe, another depth here. More depth here for the 76ers. Isaiah Joe coming off the bench, 18 points, 2 rebounds, and he shot 66% on 9 shots. Fantastic. All right, and then for the Rockets, well, they had Daniel Tice at the 5. Daniel Tice versus Joel Embiid. I take Joel Embiid every day of the week and on Sundays and all that. Daniel Tice, 7 points. He had 9 rebounds, but he shot trash. 23% on 13 shots. How are you shooting? Why is he shooting 7 threes to begin with? I don't understand. And then 13 shots, getting absolutely demolished down low. Classic Daniel Tice. Nobody really took over the game here for the Rockets. Garrison Matthews was the leading scorer, 23.7 rebounds, but everything else lackluster. So without Christian Wood, we know this Rockets team isn't anything great. And the 76ers blow them out 133-113. All right, next game up here, Hornets at the Wizards, and the Wizards get another win here. All righty, Wizards trying to get back on track. They win 124-121 over the Hornets last night, and Kyle Kuzma getting it done. 36 points, 14 rebounds, shooting 6 of 11 from 3, 50% on 26 shots. Yes, Kyle Kuzma, what is this, like 2 or 3 games pretty straight here where Kyle Kuzma has been stepping it up, so he's starting to climb back to kind of that first 2-3 weeks of the season where Kyle Kuzma was having this Wizards team as the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And I know it's not all Kyle Kuzma. Obviously, it's Bradley Beal as well. But, Kyle Kuzma was a big chunk of that, and now we're starting to get that back. So that little kind of 2 month and a half stretch in kind of the middle part of the first half of the season, Wizards, 76ers now starting to get back to their original greatness. So let's start tracking Kyle Kuzma and the Wizards a little bit. Maybe there's now value in betting the Wizards. I still want maybe a game or two more sample size before we, truly lock in and lock down on betting the Wizards. We're there with the 76ers, not quite there with the Wizards just quite yet. Bradley Beal, also a great night, 35 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, and then Daniel Gafford at the 5, 15 points, 11 boards. Fantastic. Davis Bertans as well off the bench, 14 points, always reliable, 4 of 7 from the 3. And then the Hornets just coming up small. Where is this? Now we need the Hornets team. The Hornets were good the first couple weeks of the season. Then they went through the skid. And now they need to get back up to where they were with the 76ers and the Wizards. So, still coming up a little bit short here. LaMelo Ball, 18 points, only 2 assists last night. Little uncharacteristic. But Terry Rozier, 25 points. Miles Bridges, 23 points. Gordon Hayward, 27 points. So all of them got it done. But LaMelo Ball not kind of getting all those big assists. And then Kelly Oubre Jr. only 7 points off the bench. We need him in kind of 12 plus. So a little bit of a letdown by LaMelo Ball and Kelly Oubre Jr. So Wizards get the win 124-121. All right, next game up here, and we love this bet, folks. We told y'all we love this bet. This was great value. We didn't even understand the value when we read it. Grizzlies plus 6.5. What? Have you not been watching this Grizzlies team for the last week and a half, 2 weeks? Do I dare say 3 weeks straight, folks? This Grizzlies team is getting it done. Ja Morant is making a case. He's making a case for MVP. I think we have to listen to the case, to the arguments. I'm not saying 100% wrapped up. DeMar DeRozan is still a little bit maybe my favorite, but shout out to Ja Morant, 36 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Sheesh, fantastic night. Desmond Bane, 29 points, 8 rebounds. Steven Adams getting it done down low like we know, not in the scoring department. Don't let that throw you off of, this Grizzlies team isn't good anymore because they downgraded offensive production from the big from last year to this year, from Valanciunas to Steven Adams. Ja Morant's not going to have that lob game to Valanciunas anymore, so his offensive production and his assist ability is going to come down. No, folks. That's nothing like that. This Grizzlies team is finding other scorers to score the ball, and I really think having kind of a big offensive big man like Valanciunas last year was hindering Ja Morant a little bit. Since Valanciunas was a little bit dominating the ball way more than we know Steven Adams does. So this Grizzlies team is playing loosey-goosey, free. Ja Morant is doing whatever the hell he wants, cashing out threes, cashing out mid-ranges, assisting, still getting it done. So we love this Grizzlies team better than what we liked them last season. And they are still having some players out. Dylan Brooks is still out, and they're still getting it done. So Grizzlies team winning shorthanded, and this is why here their bench, Jarrett Culver off the bench, 12 points. Brandon Clark, 16 big old points, 7 rebounds off the bench. And then Tyus Jones, 12 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds off the bench. So everybody truly getting it done here for the Grizzlies, and we love to see it. And like we said, Steven Adams, he was a plus 20 on the floor and a nice 14-point win. So Steven Adams getting it done defensively. That's what we know his game is. And we knew he would succeed last night because the Nets don't have any great big bigs. Nicholas Claxton starting 5 here. I don't know. We don't really love him at the 5, folks, because he's a little too scrawny to play the 5. He's got the hype, but not the beef. Instead, Steven Adams brings the beef, folks. So Nicholas Claxton, 11 points, 3 rebounds at the 5, but a minus 22. That was the second worst of the squad last night. Steven Adams getting it done. We get James Harden, 19 points, 8 assists. Patty Mills has been letting us down. Man, oh man, we talked Patty Mills up big time. You know, his first couple of starts in the starting lineup here with no Kyrie Irving, as we all know, and Patty Mills was impressing us. But this is like back-to-back games scoring like 0 or like under 10 points, no points on 6 shots, 5 threes last night. So Patty Mills, come on, you've got to be consistent here. Kevin Durant and James Harden need you. Kevin Durant, 26 points last night. Little off night by Kevin Durant, minus 23 on the floor. He was the worst on the floor. Nicholas Claxton, number 2, but only shooting 33% on 24 shots. Uncharacteristic for the Nets last night, but we cashed in on it. Nets, Grizzlies plus 6.5, tremendous value. They went outright, not even a discussion, led kind of throughout the entirety of the game, opened up like a 20-point lead, I believe, in the second half, and they win by 14 overall. Grizzlies get the win, 118-104. All right, then we get the Magic at the Bulls, and the Bulls get the win here, 102-98 over the Magic, and maybe we could start betting the Magic. Some solid basketball play over this last week here that has us kind of a little confident in, some great value that we can get. This Magic team keeping games close without Cole Anthony. That's big time. So when Cole Anthony does come back, this team can maybe start winning these games they have been competitive in. So if we're getting tons of points with the Magic, I think it's going to start becoming good value here. So we'll keep an eye on this. Bulls get the win, 102-98, 4-point win here, but still the Magic kept it close, and that's what we need to see. And we know this Magic team is one of the worst teams in the league, so they do get a lot of hefty points. So we may be able to get some great value as we progress through the season. We've got to keep an eye on it. That is our 10 minutes, but we've got a ton more to go over. So let's ramp it up a little bit here. Let's start with the Bulls. Another win. DeMar DeRozan, 29 points, led the team in scoring again. Vucevic, 13 points, 17 rebounds. Zach LaVine, 27 points. And get this, folks, Lonzo Ball's first game back, and he lays up a stinker. Lays up a big old stinker. 3 points. He had 7 assists. I'll give him the 7 assists, but shooting 1 of 8 from the field, 1 of 7 from the 3, folks, not getting it done. Kobe White off the bench, played more minutes, 17 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, shooting 63%. Kobe White a +3 on the floor. Lonzo Ball a +3 on the floor. Kobe White is better than Lonzo Ball, is more consistent than Lonzo Ball. The Bulls don't need Lonzo Ball, and I would really like to see this Bulls team maybe potentially explore trade options for Lonzo Ball at the trade deadline to get another maybe bench piece, another 6-man for this Bulls team. As we know, they're gonna be in the playoffs and they're gonna be deep, folks. They're the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference at 25-10. So, this is what we're saying. Now, we will give Lonzo Ball a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. First game back, not, in the rhythm and all that. So, we'll give him a pass here. But we're going to track these next kind of 3, 4, 5 games by Lonzo Ball before we make our official kind of decision to truly endorse the trading of Lonzo Ball. But if he's not outproducing what Kobe White did during that kind of 4 or 5 game stretch with Lonzo Ball out, I want Lonzo Ball out permanently. All right. So the Bulls get the win, but the Magic kept it close. Franz Wagner again keeping it close, 22 big old points. Wendell Carter, 21 points, 10 rebounds. Gary Harris, 19 points. And Terrence Ross, 15 points off the bench here. So the other role players for this Magic team getting involved, being consistent. So when Cole Anthony comes back, hopefully their offensive production is still up there so we can bet them, and then they could start winning games. I mean, that's the big old problem with this Magic team. They're not winning games at all, folks. This Magic team has 7 wins so far this season. 7-31. 7-31. 7 wins, 31 losses, folks. So they're making their stride. First you have to have some players, and then the next step is being competitive, and then the next step is winning games. And this Magic team is in the competition competing phase, only losing by 4 on the road to the Bulls. So we'll see if we can find any great value in the next week or two. But the Bulls get the win, 102-98. Then we get the Pistons at the Bucks, and the Pistons upset the Bucks, folks, 115-106. What? Everybody good to go here for the Bucks. Giannis, 31 points, 10 rebounds. Bobby Portis, 12 points, 14 rebounds. Chris Middleton, 10 points on 30% shooting, 1 of 6 from the 3. A little bit of a letdown there. Once again, Chris Middleton, come on. I know it's not the playoffs, but we still need you in the regular season. Drew Holiday, great night, 29 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. And then here comes Grayson Allen, another bad night, 5 points on 1 of 8 from the 3, shooting 18% on 11 shots from the field. So Grayson Allen letting us down, Chris Middleton letting us down. Come on, damn, they were all looking so great in the beginning of the season. So now do we have to start fading this Bucks team? We're buying the Magic, the Wizards, and the 76ers, and now we're fading the Bucks? Damn you Bucks, damn. So come on, Grayson Allen, you've got to get back to your great first 3 weeks of the season, like the 76ers, like the Wizards. Come on, Grayson Allen, get back up there. Until he does, we're not going to be taking any, action here with the Bucks. This is not great. And then the Pistons, well done for getting the win. Sadiq Bey, 34 big old points. Josh Jackson off the bench, 24 points in only 19 minutes. Sheesh. And then Cade Cunningham, 19 big old points, 7 big old assists, getting it done. And that's enough to beat that Bucks team. Man, oh man. Pistons get the win, 115-106. All right, then we get the Jazz at the Pelicans. Jazz get the win, 115-104 here. Jazz getting it done. Bogdanovich, 21 points, fantastic. Gobert, 10 points, 17 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell, 29 points, 5 assists. Mike Conley, 22 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds. I mean, Knicks. This is what guard production is supposed to look like. Man, oh man, consistent, great. Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley. If the Knicks had even one of those guards, they would be the top of the Eastern Conference, potentially. Unfortunately, they've got no guards, like we know. And then Jordan Clarkson doing his thing, 14 points off the bench for the Jazz. And then the Pelicans, Valanciunas, 25 points, 9 rebounds. Brandon Ingram letting us down a little bit last night, 10 points, but on 16% shooting on 18 shots, 1 of 7 from the 3. We need Ingram to be that second option out here, and he wasn't it last night, and that's why they get the loss. Valanciunas doing his thing, Brandon Ingram not following suit. Pelicans can't win at home. Jazz get the win, 115-104. All right, then we get the Nuggets at the Mavericks, and the Mavericks beat the Nuggets once again. No bettability in the Nuggets. Jokic did his thing, 27 points, 16 rebounds, fantastic. And even Aaron Gordon had a pretty solid night offensively, and we know that's kind of the knock on Aaron Gordon of why we can't buy this Nuggets team, because they don't have that offensive production anymore with all the injuries. Aaron Gordon, 15 points on efficient attack. I mean, 77% on 9 shots, but once again, it's only 9 shots. I mean, Jordan Clarkson shoots 9 shots in the first quarter coming off the bench in like 4 minutes. I mean, come on, Aaron Gordon, you need to take it over a little bit more. Nobody got any good production at all besides Jokic last night, and that's why the Nuggets struggle and why we cannot bet them at all. No good value, no bettability at all. 0% bettability, buyability in this Nuggets team at the moment. And then for the Mavericks, Luka Doncic does his thing, 21 points, 15 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 steals, a fantastic night, plus 25 on the floor, the best by a mile for the Mavs last night. Maxi Kleber still filling in at the 4 for Porzingis, 10 points, 5 rebounds on the night. Dwight Powell at the 5, 15 points. Jalen Brunson, 13 big points. And then Reggie Bullock, 15 points off the bench, enough to push them past that struggling Nuggets team. Mavericks get the win, 103-89. Then we get the Heat at the Warriors, and the Heat another big win here, and big bad news again for the Heat. Man, oh man, this Heat team, man, so great in the beginning, and once again, the injuries, the COVID just derailing this team. We get Jimmy Butler limping off the floor on a big old apparent ankle injury. Hopefully, it's not out for too long, but man, oh man, we got to stay away from betting the Heat again because Jimmy Butler's out. So, Warriors get the win, 115-108. For the Warriors, Steph Curry, 9 points and 10 assists, and they are able to get the win. He shot 1 of 10 from the three because Jordan Poole did his thing. 32 big old points coming off the bench. I think they're trying to get Jordan Poole a little bit accustomed to coming off the bench, so when Klay Thompson does come back, and it does seem like he's coming back this Sunday. Klay Thompson, 2 years removed from, ACLs and Achilles injuries. Last 2 seasons, finally going to be back out there potentially Sunday, and that's going to be the start of what this Warriors team is truly going to be. Deep, great, fantastic, and going to be the best team in the Western Conference most likely at the end of the season because of that. So Jordan Poole, 32 big old points, and Andrew Wiggins, when Steph Curry's out, off, Andrew Wiggins steps up big time all the time, 22 huge ass points. Love it. Warriors get the win. And then for the Heat, Jimmy Butler got 22 points before having to exit. Tyler Hero, 18 points. Kyle Lowry, 16 points, 11 assists. And then Kyle Guy, back at it, 14 big old points coming off the bench. Excuse us, folks, 1 second. Copy. All right, cool. Thank you very much. Yep, bye. All righty. We are back. All right. Where do we leave off? Kyle Guy getting it done. 14 big old points. All righty. All right. So the Heat lose last night, unfortunate, to the Warriors, 115-108. All right, last 2 games. Let's finish them up quickly here. Next game up, Hawks at the Blazers, and the Hawks lose, and this was our second bet of the night here. We took Atlanta -5.5, and that was all looking good and well, but Anthony Simons decided to show up big time last night. Man, oh man. No CJ McCollum still, no Damian Lillard, so Anthony Simons at the 143 points, 7 assists. A great night by Anthony Simons. We weren't expecting that. The man shot 9 of 16 from the 3, and that's what blows up our great value of Atlanta -5.5. And now, why was it great value? Because Trae Young had a great night as well. 56 points for the Hawks, 14 assists. 56 points, 14 assists here for Trae Young and the Hawks. So if Anthony Simons didn't go ballistic maniac mode, we probably would have hit the -5.5. Unfortunate. Clint Capella, 22 big old points as well. Just unfortunately, Anthony Simons had a little bit of a better supporting cast. We had Norma Powell contributing 26 big old points. Nurkic down low, 21 points, 12 rebounds, and Nasir Little, 22 big old points as well. Unfortunately, Trae Young didn't have all that great help, and the Hawks lose 136-131. And then the last game of the night, Timberwolves at the Clippers here. Timberwolves get another win. Paul George still out here for the Clippers. So once again, no buyability, no bettability in the Clippers. The Clippers' leading scorer was Serge Ibaka at the 5. 17 points on 7 shots. He shot 100% last night. Love seeing that by Serge Ibaka. He comes in glimpses, folks, like last year with the Raptors, 2 years ago with the Raptors getting it done. And then here with the Clippers in the starting lineup, 17 points. Just unfortunately doesn't have that other supporting cast to help him out. And then for the Timberwolves, the big 3, just only the big one last night. Anthony Edwards, 28 big old points. And then Jaden McDaniels off the bench, 18 points, second leading scorer. And then Teron Prince, 17 points, third leading scorer. Both of those coming off the bench. So fantastic there for the Timberwolves. And once they get, Karl Anthony Towns back and D'Angelo Russell, so they have that complete big 3. Hopefully their other kind of role players off the bench can still get this level of production, and this Timberwolves team can make a run. This is an exciting Timberwolves team, folks, that just needs to all be healthy at the same time. That was their kind of unfortunate downfall last season. They were great at the end of the season because they were all finally healthy and on the floor at the same time, but this year and last year, most of the season not on the floor and not healthy at the same time. Anthony Edwards trying his damnedest to kind of get this team right and kind of keep this team idle while everybody gets healthy. Timberwolves, the 9th seed currently in the Western Conference at 17-20, 5-5 in their last 10. But man, oh man, Anthony Edwards is something else, folks. Absolutely fantastic, rising star here, second year in the league. And man, oh man, I would love to see this Timberwolves team try to compete for a playoff spot, but they need to be healthy. All right, that was all the NBA from last night. Let's see if we can make a little bit of money tonight in the NBA. We hit the Grizzlies +6, folks. That was fantastic value. Let's see if we can find better value than that. It's going to be tough because that was crazy great value. Caught Vegas slipping, folks, and that's our favorite way to win. So let's see what we've got tonight, folks. Only 4 games on tonight. Let's see if we can find the value. First game up, Spurs at the Raptors. Raptors -6.5, Spurs +6.5. All righty, now we've seen this Raptors team go crazy with Fred VanVleet. He's truly been stepping it up, and everybody's good to go for this Raptors team besides Goran Dragic. And then for the Spurs, Doug McDermott out, DeJounte Murray still out, Lonnie Walker still out. So I'm going to take the Raptors -6.5 here. I like the way they've been winning and scoring. The entire starting lineup is getting it done on a nightly consistent basis now that they're all healthy. OG Anunoby, we're getting Pascal Siakam, great. And then once again, Fred VanVleet, we've been super impressed with them, and I think we've got enough confidence in betting this Raptors team against a little bit of a lackluster Spurs team overall. I don't want to call them garbage or trash, so we'll call them lackluster for now, but we'll swallow the 6.5 here for the Raptors. I think that's really solid value. Love it. Alrighty, next matchup up here, Grizzlies at the Cavs, and do we break our rule of never betting back-to-backs to bet the Grizzlies again with the points? Grizzlies +2.5? No, we can't do that, especially against this Cavs team. No, that'd be disrespectful to do that. But for the Grizzlies, Dylan Brooks still out, Kyle Anderson out, DeAnthony Melton out, Xavier Tillman. I mean, that's what I'm talking about with the depth of the Grizzlies, folks. This is going to be a really scary team down the stretch of the year. And then for the Cavs, Ricky Rubio, once like we know, was out for the year. Rajon Rondo was out. C.D. Osman's a game-time decision. And Darius Garland's a game-time decision. So maybe we're getting this great Cavs team back with their guard, Darius Garland, back. But we'll stay away from this one. Y'all know we don't bet those back-to-backs. Then we get the Suns at the Pelicans. Pelicans on the back-to-back. We'll stay away from this one. Suns -7.5, Pelicans +7.5. And then the last game of the night, the Kings at the Lakers. Kings +6.5, Lakers -6.5. But y'all know how we feel about this Lakers team. We can't bet them without Anthony Davis. Yes, we know LeBron is great and fantastic, but now Russell Westbrook's the number 2 and all the turnovers, so we're not even comfortable swallowing 1 point for this Lakers team, even at home, even against the lackluster Kings team. So we'll stay away from that one. So the only value that we found today, folks, that we do like, Raptors -6.5. Alrighty, that is all the NBA we had to go over for today. So now let's shift gears to the NFL, folks, and start breaking down this Monday night football game from last night. Browns at the Steelers. Big Ben's final ride, folks. Final time at Heinz Field, last home game. The emotions were running high. I mean, that's what the entire game and the pregame was all about. Big Ben, Big Ben, Big Ben, Big Ben. And he's gosh dang lucky he won the game. So then after the game, it was all about Big Ben walking off the field. Then he went in the tunnel, and then he came back out because he wanted more time on the field. So that was another kind of 20 minutes, and then he walked back in. But, he does deserve it, and he has earned it. Big Ben has been a fantastic quarterback in this league. One of those kind of aging out quarterbacks as we transition into this new era of Joe Burrow, Patty Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, potentially Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts. Fantastic. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody? I don't know if I can count Tua. I don't know if I can count him, but we know the league is in great hands, especially with Joe Burrow, folks. Man, I can't even stop gushing over these last 2 weeks' performances by Joe Burrow, folks. I can't get it out of my mind. It's been fantastic. So yeah, Big Ben's definitely deserved this, folks. 2-time Super Bowl winner. There was a stat last night that was a pretty great stat. It was quarterbacks that have 60,000 plus passing yards and won 2 Super Bowls, and there was only 3 quarterbacks, folks. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Ben Roethlisberger. So, first ballot Hall of Famer, you got to give him his dues, folks. Winning Super Bowls, him and Mike Tomlin, never having a losing season. That's just Mike Tomlin in general, but we know Big Ben and Mike Tomlin do overlap some. So, shout out to Mike Tomlin as well. 15 straight seasons of never having a losing year. I mean, that's so impressive. And we know the stat of, Matt LaFleur never losing back-to-back games. I mean, both of those stats are just truly mind-boggling. 3 years straight, never losing back-to-back games, going 13-3 at minimum every single year for Matt LaFleur. And then Mike Tomlin just being so gosh dang consistent here in Pittsburgh. Obviously, having Big Ben helps a little bit. And same thing with Matt LaFleur. Obviously, having Aaron Rodgers helps that out a little bit. But you still got to get your team right and ready to play. And this Steelers team for the last 15 years have always been right and ready to play and ready to make the playoffs and always always in the playoffs. I mean, this Steelers team really was kind of running the AFC North the last 15 years with Big Ben. A little bit of a knockoff dynasty of the Patriots. Obviously, the Patriots, folks, with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. But I mean, with the Steelers, Mike Tomlin and, Big Ben, I mean, they were kind of up there of always dominating their division, always kind of the favorites of winning that division, and always kind of getting in the playoffs because they won the division. And now, we know, folks, the Ravens won one here and there. We get it. But overall, folks, we're talking overall for a 15-year stretch. It's been pretty gosh dang good by the Steelers team. So Big Ben deserves all the praise, deserves to get emotional. I've got no problem with it. We know this has to be his last season, and I think that was I was a little excited that Big Ben was finally acknowledging, last year really should have been his last year, but he wanted to give it one more go. Once again, he's earned that, and what a class act by the Steelers organization of letting him, all right, you want to come back one more year? Okay. And then how about even that, not even drafting the replacement, not even having that kind of narratives clouding and surrounding his last year. Because if you could have imagined, the Steelers team drafted a quarterback or even kind of got in, kind of like a Gardner Minshew-esque type of quarterback that's real solid and does deserve a look at a starting job. Big Ben, if the Steelers did that and had kind of, a better quarterback than Mason Rudolph at the 2, I mean, there would have been, quarterback scandal, quarterback competition, the narrative throughout this entire year, clouding and getting in the way of Big Ben's kind of last ride a little bit. So, I mean, whether the Steelers did that or not and planned that purposely, I don't think they did, but overall it worked out like that, so I guess, do we give them credit for that? I don't know. I guess we'll give them the Steelers organization a little bit of credit for not ruining and, not making Big Ben the forefront of the overall narrative of this season. So, Big Ben's last ride, all that, got it going, and the Steelers get the win. Because could you imagine if the Browns came in, division rival Baker Mayfield gets the win at Heinz Field, Big Ben's last game there? That wouldn't have been so great, and I would have loved to see the stories today. I want to be in that alternate universe where the Browns won last night, upsetting Big Ben's last home game. Unfortunately, we don't get that. We get, the happy ending, the ending everybody loves. Big Ben is about to ride off into the sunset. They still have a chance to make the playoffs, and we're going to talk about that in our next segment as we walk through Week 18 here. But Big Ben deserves the praise. He deserved this night. He didn't look great this night, and I think we can all agree with that. And there's going to be a stat here that I'm going to say, and it's going to blow your mind. We talk about dink and dunk. Big Ben took dink and dunk to a next level I didn't even know was possible, folks. So let's just start talking about that, shall we? Let's just get into it. Big Ben, this definitely needs to be his last year. We knew this coming into the season. We knew it week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. We've known it this entire year. Big Ben not able to move the ball, push the ball down the field. And when we saw he was not able to do that the first 4 weeks, we knew the Steelers were in trouble because longevity does not get better as time progresses. We know this. So, Big Ben, bad the first 4 weeks, still bad, the last 2 weeks. We saw this coming the entire year. So glad that Big Ben has finally recognized, hey, I can't stay one more year. So that's kind of why I was excited with Big Ben finally kind of acknowledging, because, the first, 10 weeks of the season, 11 weeks, 12, maybe even all the way up to week 13, 14, it wasn't Big Ben coming out and being like, hey, this is my last ride. I'm on the farewell tour. I'm all this, I'm all that. No, it was all kind of crickets, and we weren't hearing anything, and we were kind of getting a little antsy about, hey, Big Ben, you're not here next year, right? Right. I know Mike Tomlin and kind of, the Rooney family. The Rooneys still own the Steelers. Is that right? I'm almost certain. I don't think anything's crazy's happened. Art Rooney, I think RIP to him, but the Rooney's family, I think, still owns the Steelers. If that's wrong, I apologize. But overall, the Steelers organization, I know they're kind of like, all right, Ben, this is the year, right? Last year? Yeah, all right. Obviously they want to kind of do the stand-up thing and not kind of force Big Ben out since he's done so much for Pittsburgh and all that. Once again, we get, what y'all clamor and demand every time some organization does a player dirty. Y'all are like, oh, the business always gets in the way, always. Well, the side of the business not getting in the way. So let's kind of remember this one. So, the next time a football team and organization from the owner cuts a player kind of disrespectfully, you guys aren't out on, social media being like, oh, this always happens. Where's the respect? Where's the class nowadays? Nobody's got any class. Nobody's got respect anymore. Hey, where's the respect here? This is Big Ben we're talking about. 2-time Super Bowl winner. Where's the respect? Respect. So let's cool it on the respect talk. The Steelers, there's not much more you can do in terms of respect than what the Steelers did with Big Ben, because honestly, they should have canned him last year. But all that aside, Big Ben deserved this moment. We're back at it. All right. What were we doing? All right, Big Ben stats here. All right, Big Ben, we knew he needed to retire. We're glad he finally recognized it, because this passing performance, folks, is just absolutely not good. I don't want to go atrocious. We'll try to respect Big Ben, but this is atrocious. This is truly atrocious, folks. It's crazy. Big Ben did not go out and win this game. Najee Harris in the defense won this game. The other quarterback, Baker Mayfield, actively lost this game. Kevin Stefanski actively lost this game. So Big Ben deserves the least amount of credit for this win. But that's what we've been saying all year long on the Steelers team. It's not Big Ben going out there and winning these games, folks, okay? And it was in full focus last night. Everybody kind of wanted to not acknowledge and recognize it because it was Big Ben's last night in Heinz Field, and everybody's too busy clowning Baker Mayfield. Granted, I'm not disagreeing with y'all, but y'all were too busy doing that instead of seeing Big Ben dink and dunk and dunk and dink and dink and dink and dink and dink. I don't even, what's a word worse than dink and dunk? Let me get our trusty thesaurus up here. Can I get a thesaurus on dink? Let me get dink up here. Dink definition. What do we got? Dink meaning. Dink. Dingy. Drop shot. Nitwit. Jerk. Nerd. Let me get a synonym for dink. I got bookworm, dork, geek, grind, nerd, swat, weenie, wonk. You wonkin'. He's dinking, dunking, and wonking out here. The man is a wonker, folks. Big Ben in his final game, or his entire final year, is a big ol', not even dinkin' dunker, a big ol' wonker, folks. This man is wonking out here. So, Big Ben Roethlisberger, are you ready? We'll tell you the stats, and then we'll tell you this one stat fact that's going to blow your mind, and maybe even lose a little respect overall for Big Ben. So here we go. Big Ben Roethlisberger goes 24 of 46, folks. Bad. 52%. That's bad, but it's not as bad as this stat fact that we're going to have for you, folks. What did we say? 52%? Already lost the percentage. But anything under 60, I just automatically classify as trash. Y'all know how we do that. Yeah, so 52%, 123 yards. 123 yards. This is where the donk? I already forgot the word, folks. I've got so much running through the mind. Wonk. This is such a wonk, folks. 123 yards on 24 completions. Oh my God, that is wonk to the max. I can't even classify that as dink and dunk, folks. That's wonk. Wink and wonk. Wink and wonk. Wink and wonk. There it is. Dink and dunk and wink and wonk, folks. See, y'all know it's going to come to us, folks. That's what we do here. It will eventually come to us. Winking and wonking. Dink, dunk, wink, wonk. We finally got it 100% perfected, folks. All right. So he's a big old wink and wonker, folks, at 123 yards on 24 completions. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Could have been dangerous. Big Ben throws his interception at the end of the first half. No time to do anything for the Browns. Big Ben from his own 49-yard line just going deep, trying to do something, and unfortunately it was an interception. So Big Ben's turnover, nothing bad, nothing concerning. Yeah, I mean, we're more concerned with the wink and wonk. I mean, throwing picks, what are you going to throw? A 2-yard pass that gets intercepted? Most likely. But other than that, we're more concerned with the wink and wonk. All right, Najee Harris, a great game. 28 rushes for 188 yards, 1 touchdown, an unnecessary touchdown, but a nice little stunting touchdown. I've got no problem with stunting. Absolutely, stunt, talk your stuff. I love it. A minute left in the game. Game's over. Just trying to ice the clock. One more first down does it, but Najee Harris says, hang on, I'm going to get mine. Big Ben's last night, I'm going to still make it a little bit about me, and I'm going to go get mine. And Najee Harris on 3rd and 2 rips off 37 yards for the big old tug to truly ice out the game. Baker Mayfield throws 1 more interception, and then that gives Big Ben 1 more opportunity to go out on Heinz Field and take a knee. 1 more standing ovation. How many did he need? He had a ton. I mean, this man was just coming back for seconds on every kind of celebration. Last time walking off the field, everybody was giving him round of applause because Najee Harris got the touchdown. And then Baker Mayfield's coming on the field for the last minute. Nobody thought Ben Roethlisberger would come back out of the field. But then he does, and everybody's applauding again. So that's 2 times applause. And then Big Ben does it again at the end of the game, walks into the tunnel, and then comes back out just to walk back in the tunnel once again. 2nd round of applause, standing ovations, and all that. So Big Ben was milking it, but once again, he's earned the right. We give the man credit. We're not knocking Big Ben. We're just talking it all out, folks. That's what we do here on the show. We talk everything out. Alrighty, so that was Big Ben last night. Najee Harris, great night, 28 rushes, 188 yards, and a touchdown. And then who was Big Ben Roethlisberger slinging the ball to? We had Ray McCloud, 4 catches for 35 yards. Deontay Johnson, 8 catches for 31 yards and a touchdown. Pat Freiermuth, 5 catches, 22 yards. Najee Harris, 3 catches, 18 yards. And Chase Claypool, 3 catches for 17 yards. So, once again, it was only 123 yards. It's nothing impressive. And are y'all ready for the stat, folks? Are y'all ready for this stat? Because here it is. Last night, Ben Roethlisberger had the 2nd lowest yards per attempt by a quarterback with 40-plus passing attempts in a game in NFL history. 2nd lowest yards per attempt. Wink and wonk, folks. Wink and wonk. He had 46 attempts with 123 passing yards for a 2.67 yards per attempt. 2 yards per attempt. If you go every down, 4 downs, that's only 8 yards on, through the 4 plays. You're not even picking up a first down. If you complete a throw 4 straight times, you still don't even get the first down. Do you see where we're having a little bit of an issue buying Big Ben in his final year? Okay, wink and wonk. Is that what we're going to remember Big Ben for? His wink and wonk the last 2 years? Or the great 2 rings and 60,000 plus passing yards that he had? Only time will tell, but I'm not going to let him live down this wink and wonk, folks, okay? The lowest was Jesse Palmer in 2003, who had 43 attempts for 110 yards, 2.56 yards per throw. So that's who he's compared with. Jesse Palmer. Ever heard of him? I've heard of his brother Carson, but never Jesse. What are you doing in this league? Get out of here. So Big Ben, the wink and wonker. Alrighty, and then on the Browns side, once again, everybody clowning Baker Mayfield today, and I don't disagree with y'all. This was not a great game. You have a chance to upset the Steelers. I know the Browns don't have anything to play for, and that was so crazy to us to see the spread line change so drastically just because the Browns had nothing to play for, going from Browns -3.5 throughout the week to Browns +3 game day. Kind of crazy. So that's just how much Vegas truly put an emphasis on still being in the hunt, and the Browns not being in the hunt. They thought that they would just flounder and not really give it their all, and that's exactly what happened last night. Browns struggled to put up any points, nothing in the first half. Yeah, they threw 2 touchdowns together, but it was never really competitive. Maybe on their first touchdown it was, but then after the Steelers got the field goal and really made it a 2-possession game, you knew this Browns team would never be able to really overcome that, and that's exactly what happened. Steelers win 2 possessions, 26-14. The Steelers, if you got it at +3.5, fantastic value, you cashed in, and even if you had to swallow 3 points for the Steelers on game day, you cashed in as well. Fools on us. We bet the Browns both times, -3.5, +3. We really thought Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski would play way better. Baker Mayfield would play so much better, and then Kevin Stefanski, what the hell was going on with that? This game plan was absolutely trash. He only had 4 rushes with Nick Chubb in the first half, and now we know it was because the Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski said running back Nick Chubb, who had just 12 carries for the game and 4 in the first half, was limited due to an injury to his ribs. But what sense does that make? Injury to the ribs, but then you play him late in the game instead of in the beginning of the game. So how much was he truly injured? Why did you still not run the ball? You knew that you were having kind of health and kind of COVID issues with these running backs this entire season, especially with Kareem Hunt. So you didn't even have kind of a number 2 running back consistent here throughout the season, and you still didn't kind of game plan for that and get another great running back in. You still got Dearness Johnson, who got it done for you without Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That was in the middle of the year. I want to say around weeks 9, 10, 11, where we get Dearness Johnson, and he came in through fantastic, but y'all still weren't running the ball or establishing the run. I just don't get what Kevin Stefanski was thinking out here, relying and just making it all about Baker Mayfield. When has that ever worked for Kevin Stefanski? Even going back last year when they actually had success winning games, it wasn't Baker Mayfield slinging the ball 40 plus times a game for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns every game. No. It was Baker Mayfield, game manager. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, both getting it done. So I don't understand why Kevin Stefanski has tried to go away from that every single game. It makes no sense to me. I mean, we see what the Colts are doing. With Frank Reich not letting Carson Wentz sling the ball because they've got Jonathan Taylor and other great running backs. The Browns are the same way, but Kevin Stefanski, I don't know what, it's night and day from Kevin Stefanski last season to this season. I don't even recognize the Kevin Stefanski of this year. So I'm not putting all the blame on Baker Mayfield, even though I am putting a solid blame on it, at least 50%. Kevin Stefanski may make up the other 50% with a mix of maybe 1 or 2 other players, but overall, it's Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield really deserving to share the blame for the loss last night. And not only the loss, but the overall lackluster, flounder, big-time offensive production. What was that? Baker Mayfield not getting it done, Kevin Stefanski not calling it the right way. It was just absolutely atrocious to watch, and I really thought the Browns being, division rival, and yes, Big Ben's a great quarterback and all that, great story and all that, but this is the Browns, his rival. He's been whooping that ass the last 15 years. You don't think Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski would have loved to ruin Baker Mayfield's last home game? So the fact that they still couldn't even get up to that point to be competitive, it's like, what are we doing? Y'all got so competitive last year when you faced the Steelers in the playoffs, and the Steelers were just without everybody due to all the injuries the last, in the playoffs, and Big Ben, being at his worst because, we're already 18 weeks into the season last year. The Browns had no problem running up the score and obliterating the Steelers right from the get-go, but now this time they do. It's just like Kevin Stefanski, he's got big question marks heading into next year, and so does Baker Mayfield. So, with the whole, does Baker Mayfield deserve the deal or whatever, we know that the Browns have picked up his 5th-year option. So he will be a Brown next year. It's just whether he gets a contract and extension this offseason if they wait till next year. But that's what I would do. Baker Mayfield does not deserve a contract extension. Kevin Stefanski, Baker Mayfield, one final year. Or if Kevin Stefanski is going to kind of save face, he may try and get a quarterback this year because he knows he can't rock another year with Baker Mayfield. Because if we're getting Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield both floundering big time next year, we're cleaning house, and I'm going to pick a head coach to start fresh with who's going to pick his own quarterback to start fresh with. I'm not giving Kevin Stefanski the job here if he's still not able to kind of make it work. And we don't have to see this Browns offense and team be the best in the league next year. We just need to see Kevin Stefanski get back to what he did last year, because it was just so much better play calling, offense, and all that. And then we still have this other nugget of information of Baker Mayfield being banged up all year. How much did that play into the overall production and play of Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield can't make any excuses because he went out there every single week. And if you're out there, you are telling everybody, hey, I'm at least good enough to give you my best. And, your best has to be good to win, and it wasn't. So Baker Mayfield, kind of using a little bit of his injuries as an excuse. We get Browns Baker Mayfield said he will have surgery to repair his injured shoulder, but did not specify when. Mayfield added he will discuss with his agent and family whether he will play in the Week 18 finale, but he had like another quote here where it was just like, yeah, I'm just totally banged up and all that. So yeah, we knew you were banged up. We knew, you kind of made that clear, but you were still out there. That is not an excuse. We cannot go into this offseason giving Baker Mayfield the benefit of the doubt of playing injured. You still put it out there. You still went out there, and you didn't get it done. So that's on you. This was a bad season by Baker. And, we weren't even really impressed with him last season when they were winning all those games and making the playoffs and looking good. So not going to be the best offseason for Baker Mayfield in the media and all that. But I do believe one more year, Kevin Stefanski, Baker Mayfield, and if it doesn't work out next year, you blow it all up. Kevin Stefanski is not cut out for the job. 1 good year and 2 bad years, that's not good, folks. 1 good year and, 2 solid years, yeah, you get the 4th year. 2 good years, 1 bad year, yeah, you get the 4th year. But 1 good year and then the following subsequent next 2 years are worse, and like this year's worse than the year before, it's not looking good for Kevin Stefanski. Alrighty, let's get to Baker Mayfield here. Here we go. B. Mayfield goes 16 of 38. He didn't play good. We know this. 42%, worse than Wink and Wunker Ben Roethlisberger. He did have 185 yards and 16 completions, so he wasn't winking and wunking, but that completion percentage is god-awful. 2 touchdowns for Baker Mayfield, 2 interceptions. First interception came before his touchdown in the second quarter, and the Steelers put up 3 points off that interception. And then the last interception comes on the last drive of the game when they were already losing. No chance to come back, so we don't really weigh that other interception that much. Running game, really non-existent. Nick Chubb, 12 rushes for 58 yards. Baker Mayfield took off twice for 16 yards. And then Dearness Johnson just could not get it going last night. 5 rushes for 13 yards, but I still think you had to stick with it. There's no reason not to run the ball in the first half. It's not like the Steelers were blowing you out. They had a 10-0 lead going into halftime. They had a 13-7 lead going into the fourth quarter. There was never a moment where you're like, oh my God, I have to abandon the run. And then Kevin Stefanski still relied on Baker Mayfield to single-handedly win the game. What do we say about Baker Mayfield? He is a game manager. He cannot single-handedly go out there and win the game himself. A little bit like Ryan Tannehill, folks. We always compare those two. So I don't understand what Kevin Stefanski is doing. Once again, if we're having this man as the head coach thinking Baker Mayfield is the guy, is the answer, not the greatest look optically for Kevin Stefanski. So it's going to be a real interesting offseason for this Browns team. And then who was Baker Mayfield slinging the ball to? He had Donovan Peoples-Jones, 3 catches, 76 yards. Jarvis Landry, 4 catches, 43 yards. Austin Hooper, 2 catches for 28 yards. And David Njoku, 4 catches, 28 yards and a touchdown. And that touchdown Baker Mayfield threw to David Njoku in the end zone. It was fantastic. 1-on-1 matchup. He throws it up. That's what we want to see. But, the Browns struggle getting into the red zone at all to score. So, unfortunate there. All right, before we move off of this game, I just want to quickly just show you why Baker Mayfield is struggling and kind of how I'm just kind of seeing great quarterbacks maneuvering and navigating the pocket compared to these other quarterbacks that are kind of, question mark. The jury is still out on them overall. I'm talking Tua. I'm talking Baker Mayfield. I'm talking a little bit of Mac Jones. I'm talking a lot about a lot of young quarterbacks and all that. But before we get to that play, I just want to show the interception. Did I want to show the interception by Baker Mayfield? I forgot why I wanted to do that. 13:56. Let me get to this. All right, here we go. This is kind of what I'm talking about of maneuvering in the pocket and getting it done. We're going to get Baker Mayfield with this interception right here. This is trash right here. Baker Mayfield, play action pass, rolling out to the left, and then just throws this one way behind the receiver here. That's the interception. That's really the one lone interception he had. It came at a bad time. They were down 7-0 in the second quarter, and, you need to score. And, we know the Steelers got 3 points off of this turnover, but bad accuracy there by Baker Mayfield, unfortunate. And then we get Big Ben, first play after that interception. Just watch Ben Roethlisberger in the pocket, because Baker Mayfield, younger quarterbacks always look to escape out of the pocket, even, when the pocket is kind of great and clean, but after that kind of 2.5, 3 seconds, they think, the pocket's supposed to be breaking down. I got to get out of the pocket here. So Baker Mayfield does this all the time. It was all the time last night, folks, thinking he could step up. No. The defenders were playing that. They're going to cut you off as soon as you make that first step. Baker Mayfield not having any pocket awareness. I don't want to call it awareness. There's no pocket maneuverability by Baker Mayfield. There's none. He doesn't stand tall in the pocket. He's looking for that first sign of danger to get out and roll out of the pocket, and we see Baker Mayfield maneuvering out of the pocket, not being accurate. So we need Baker Mayfield to stand tall in the pocket. He doesn't do that. But look at Big Ben here, who's immobile as heck, folks. As we all know, the man is old as heck, 39, about to turn into dust, has to retire really now because, he can't even throw. He's averaging 2.6 yards a throw, folks, a wink and wonker. So, Baker Mayfield not being comfortable in the pocket at his young spring chicken age, but here we get Big Ben Roethlisberger, cold coming off the bench because of the sudden change of possession, just old as heck, not able to move because he's old, he's 39, aging out of the league. But Big Ben, watch how he maneuvers this pocket right here. Here we go. Dropping back. It's a deep route, so he knows he has to hang in there. Goes to step up in the pocket. We get the edge rusher by the Browns taking a swing at Big Ben. And what does Big Ben do? He just shakes it off. He saw that edge rusher coming. He didn't try to roll out of the pocket. He didn't try to step all the way up in the pocket and try and take off with it. No, he stepped up. He shrugged it off. He kept his eyes down the field, and then he just unloads it all the way down the field. Nice 50-50 ball. It wasn't accurate, so it wasn't that great, but overall, it's a 50-50 ball. He just throws it up, and it could have made a big play, but it's just so much difference from a veteran who's won rings in this league to know that you don't always have to just run out of the pocket at the first sign of danger. Tua does this, but it's a little granted because the offensive line is so bad. Baker Mayfield has been doing this all last year, all this year, all this game, not learning. Settle down. The pocket's fine. Step up, shift one step right, shift one step left. But Baker Mayfield, he's on a 3 to 5 step drop back, and then he thinks, nothing's open for the first 2 seconds, and then he sees a little bit of a gap in the middle of the field, and then he takes off. 1 second. Hello? Hey, Eastern downtown has a pickup. All right, copy. Yep, bye. All right. Hopefully that's the last time. I apologize, truly, folks. But yeah, Baker Mayfield just running up in the pocket and trying to take off with it, and then he gets taken down immediately, 1-2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, on the line of scrimmage. Baker Mayfield, he thinks he can see an open lane to run with, but it instantly gets closed as the minute he tries to take off with the ball. Just stay in the pocket, calm your feet, and see the field. You're going to be able to hang in there. Yes, not all the time, but most of the time you will. But escaping out of the pocket, now you're rolling out to the right. You're cutting out half the field now, half your routes, half your options. Everybody's chasing you to the right sideline. Then you make a bad pass that gets picked because, you're rolling out to the left. You're running out of time. You're not even left-handed, so now you're kind of, in a bad overall position to throw this ball, short side of the field, and you throw the ball behind your receiver. So Baker Mayfield, not going to be a great offseason for this man in the media. He's going to get dissected by us. We'll talk it all through. We'll kind of recap his season and all that. But overall, Baker Mayfield, nothing impressive. And same thing with Kevin Stefanski. So Big Ben gets it done. I guess everybody else got it done. But Big Ben won, so I guess we can't knock it. Big Ben's final home game ends with the win, 26-14. All right, how long have we been going? 59 minutes. Yeah, we are going to have to get out of here. So we are not going to be able to walk through the final week of the regular season, but we've still got time to do that, folks. We are not tripping over here. Hopefully y'all are not tripping either. So just quickly, I want to talk about this quickly, right here, quickly. Here we go. Rams wide receiver, he puts it perfect, folks, and we have to start kind of thinking about this now so we don't get kind of too caught up come next week. So this is what we all have to remember. There was an extra game added this year, folks. Previous records need to be held in their own light. Yes, we could still celebrate record-breaking stats this year, but we have to put it into context that there is an extra game. So Tom Brady about to break 5,000 yards for the first time in his career this season. That's not going to be the biggest stat and the biggest achievement because all of his other kind of rivals for greatest quarterback of all time have a 5,000 yard passing season in only 16 games. Now the 17th game. Tom Brady at 4,990 yards. That's not 5,000 in 16 games, folks. Drew Brees, 5,000 yard seasons in 16 games. I think even Aaron Rodgers. Does Aaron Rodgers have one? A 5,000 yard season? I don't think he does. We know Aaron Rodgers doesn't like to turn over the ball, so he throws the ball away more times than not, more times than usual by everybody else. But Aaron Rodgers, does he have a 5,000 yard season? He does not. So if Aaron Rodgers ever gets a 5,000 yard season, we doubt it. 3,900 so far this season, and y'all still want him as MVP. Once again, I disagree with that big time. It's the entire Green Bay team actively winning. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is fantastic. I'm not saying he's not. He's fantastic at throwing the ball, one of the best accurate arms in the league, but it's not him slinging the ball 5,000 yards like Joe Burrow is at like 4,700, 4,600. But back to the main point right here. Let's kind of cool it. Let's not get over our head because I already know when Tom Brady throws for 10 yards, everyone's going to be talking about the 5,000 yard season and how that's such an impact on his resume of greatest of all time and on the Mount Rushmore. No, it's not. It's not that impressive. We have to kind of get a new stat, and it really should be like 5,500 yards now, since we had that extra added game. I want to say like Drew Brees did like 5,400 in a season, just absolutely astronomically, greatly, stupidly fantastic. So we'll come up with a new number. We have to kind of wait till this season plays out and then come up with that number. We'll do that in the offseason. But let's not get overboard on these stats being broken because of the 17th game. And really, we honestly maybe even have to shave off 2 games because the last week of the season, week 17 going back, last year, week 16, teams maybe already have it wrapped up. So, the last week of the season, week 17, game 16, you don't play. So you're really only doing it in 15 games and all that. But that's besides the point. But let's not get too bogged down or too caught up, I should say, in the extra game added to break records. Cooper Kupp puts it perfectly here. He says, quote, "It wouldn't seem right to break records in a 17-game season." Yes, we can create new records based on the 17-game format, but those old records, they are forever ingrained in history. Nobody will ever touch Drew Brees' record of multiple 5,000-yard games and only 5,000-yard seasons in 16 games. Now, when we start discussing, he did, let's talk about, a quarterback in the 17-game era that did it in 15 games or only 16 games, and that extra game added nothing. And then we're starting to get into, once again, dicey territory just because the overall layout and how you approach and tackle the season is a little bit different. Once again, having, only 16 games, week 15, players maybe have already wrapped up something so they don't start their starters. And then in the 17-game era, now everybody's competitive because of that extra game. Like these last 2 weeks, all the teams kind of, like there was like 4 teams that weren't in playoff contention. So it's still going to get a little dicey. We'll try to talk it all through and rationalize it and all that, but we have to wait till we get the official final stats and all that and the records and all that. So this will be a big discussion in the offseason and all that, but let's read this quote here by Cooper Kupp quickly. The Los Angeles Rams star receiver has a chance to break big records in Week 18 against the San Francisco 49ers, but said Monday he thinks any he sets should come with an asterisk, saying, quote, "We're in a new age of football here. We're playing 17 games of football a year, and a lot of the stuff that happened before that, those records hold a different weight, being that they were played in those 16 games." He also added this, quote, "What those guys did in 16 games, it wouldn't seem right to, I don't know, for those to be broken in 17 games. It wouldn't hold the same weight to me as it did for those guys that did it in that 16-game season, and the accomplishments those guys had and the season they put together. Those are incredible things, incredible accomplishments. You kind of have to separate the two." I agree 1,000%, and I love that this is coming from Cooper Kupp, who has the ability to break a record. I think it's for most receiving yards in a season, and then also for Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver, quarterback combo, most yards in a season and all that. So this is coming from a man who has a chance to break the records himself. So I respect Cooper Kupp to hell for this. He's a fantastic receiver, potential Super Bowl winner, potential Super Bowl MVP, maybe potentially. But let's all keep this in mind as we head into the extra added game. Maybe these records that are being broken here aren't really that great, okay? That's all we have to say. Alrighty, and once again, Tom Brady, that's the one that we're truly going to focus on. We're not letting anybody get away of crowning Tom Brady an extra accomplishment because he threw 5,000 yards in 17 games. I won't allow it, folks. I won't even allow the 4,990. That's not 5,000. I don't care what you say. There's another quarterback, I think Drew Brees, that threw for 49,90 in a season, and I don't count that as his 5,000-yard season. So, no, Tom Brady's great. He's great enough. He's never thrown 5,000 yards in 16 games, so that's his one knock. That's a pretty good only knock. So he's still great, folks. We're not taking anything away from Tom Brady. We're just not actively giving him more accomplishments and records that he doesn't need, okay? Don't give Tom Brady any credit. We will not, and we will make sure nobody does. We will make sure nobody does. I will be the gatekeeper of Tom Brady 5,000-yard stat being used for him, okay? I'll be the gatekeeper on that. Alrighty, folks, that is going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We are back live tomorrow, noon Eastern, for our Wednesday film study. Don't have many more to do, folks. We'll probably watch Joe Burrow. Gotta watch that performance again. See if it was a little bit better against the Ravens performance. Now that I'm looking back at that performance, I think I kind of knocked it a little bit too much of what Joe Burrow did. So we'll try to make up for that and give him all the praise tomorrow. Also, I'll try to clip up. Hopefully the All-22 is out there for the Browns game tomorrow so I can show y'all exactly what I kind of was trying to express here about Baker Mayfield not being comfortable in the pocket and always looking to take off the moment something maybe is amiss. And then we'll see what else we can see for the we got to watch Matthew Stafford, close games, what's going on with that. We'll watch Carson Wentz. So we'll focus really kind of on the playoff teams, maybe one or two not playoff teams, but, we'll try to get everything lasered, locked in focus so we can, make some money in the playoffs, knowing exactly what happens. So that's what we've got tomorrow on the show, folks. Join us, if you will. Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're back live tomorrow noon Eastern, folks. Have a great one. Enjoy your day. And we can make a little bit of money here in the NBA, folks. Raptors -6.5, liking the value. Alrighty.